me that you want to live with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll talk about it inside.
I don't want to get out.
Do what now?
I don't want to get out.
I'm sorry?
I don't want to get out.
I'm sorry. You're a child and you don't get to make all the decisions. But you need to get out now, and it's time to come home. Okay?
What's the camera for?
Oh, don't worry about it. You need to come on. I'm sorry?
I don't want to get out.
I understand, but it's no longer visitation with your father, and it's time to come home. Okay? All right. We can talk about this. I'll listen to what you have to say, but there's no way that you can just roll up and everything's fine, and you can just roll up and say, "Oh, I'm not going to get out of the truck." And this mama is not going to say, "Oh, okay, bye kid that I've raised for 14 years, see you later." I'm just not that way.
Howdy. As usual, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know if my audio works. Hello, Kayla from Detroit, Michigan. Hope you're having a great morning. Testing. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm doing good. It's 10 a.m. here. I've been up since like 4. I'm always paranoid that the stupid audio isn't working, because about 1 out of 10 times it doesn't. Sounds good and clear. All right. Well. Today I'm going to be talking about, hello, Dorian. Long time no see. Talking about the red pill grift. There's a lot of red pill grifters, and I'm here to tell you that it's just drama. They sell drama, and they sell very few solutions. I had never in my life heard of the Fresh and Fit podcast or Pearl Davis or Andrew Tate until like the fall of 2022. And that's pretty much when Andrew Tate got kicked off of all social media except for Twitter. And until then, I'd never heard of any of these people. And I don't claim to have watched all their stuff. I don't watch them regularly. Another one is the Whatever podcast. I see clips now, like constantly, of all their red pill stuff. What in the world? Hang on just a second. Always these weird noises in these hotels. Anyways, I've made a post. Oh, yeah, by the way, thank you all so much for 100 million views on my channel. It's been a hell of a ride. And yeah, I just rolled over that. 52 million of those views are from the Parker movie alone, and the rest is divided up about amongst the other 400 or so videos I've got out there. Yes, I'm still stranded here in Wells, Nevada. I put out a post yesterday on my posts area, and I got a lot of support as usual, and it is very much appreciated. Caught a little slack from a few of the typical assholes telling me that I'm just a grifter or a e-beggar or a but it got me to thinking about, I mean, you talk about a grift. There's no way I can compete with something like Fresh and Fit, whose primary goal is to get scantily clad hoes with plastic faces and rubber tits among the dumbest among dumb on their podcast. And I'll admit it is kind of entertaining. And I'm not even saying that everything that Myron Gaines and Brian, whatever his name is, and there's another guy that's on the whatever podcast, Andrew something, not Andrew Tate, Andrew, is it Wilson? I think he's a pretty smart guy. He's a real smart guy. I really like him. But th- this grift that I'm talking about, it's all drama. Everything is drama. They get the dumbest. There are plenty of intelligent women that they could get on there, but that's not going to sell. Most intelligent women aren't going to be having their boobs hanging out, and that's just what sells. And I can't compete with that. Here I am with my with my thing with my before and after. But even then, I'm very open about I was a big obese fat boy. And anyway, I can't, nor do I want to compete with BS drama like those guys. Again, they perpetually, and what spurred this, even me getting on today, is I saw another clip from Pearl Davis, and she's not wrong. I mean, I'm glad she exists. I'm glad she talked about things she talked about. She interviewed, as she says, over 1,000 women in her short career, and she's always talking about or getting their perspective, all these women, and she's just saying they basically deserve what they get. They make horrible choices, and she's not wrong. They do perpetually make horrible choices, and that's why they wind up being single moms and raising boys that have no clue how to use their God-given testosterone once it comes in. And then they're just shocked. The next generation is just shocked that there aren't any good men. Well, duh. You left the raising of the boys to women. And this isn't a slam towards women, but women just simply cannot. It is impossible, cannot raise boys to be proper men. That's just a fact. Or from my perspective, that is my opinion. And what this stems from is the root cause. And this is what I mean by red pill is a grift for the most part. Again, some of the things they complain about and some of their solutions, like I happen to agree with a lot of what Andrew Tate says politically and what he encourages young men to do, get in shape. I agree with all that. There's just part of it that I don't agree with. And if he goes to prison for a long time, I'm just not going to feel sorry for him. But the grift is, in my opinion, they never get to the root problem, the root cause of all of this. And I'm not going to go into detail because every time I do, I put everybody to sleep. But if you want to find out what it actually is, there's plenty of YouTubers or YouTube videos that I can explain it. And it's Title IV defunding. That's it, plain and simple. But I have a theory is the reason they will not talk about the actual problem and how to actually get it solved. Because if the problem of single motherhood and hookup culture actually gets solved, the gig's up. There's no plastic faced rubber titty whores to show up to their podcast and talk about the dumb shit that they talk about. It's over. There's nobody for Pearl to interview anymore because all these mothers will be, or for the most part, will be happily married, raising children, raising families, and not prostituting themselves constantly. I have tried to get a hold of Pearl a couple of times. I've commented on, and I don't have near the audience that those people have, and I don't really expect to, because let's just face it, this world's just kind of gone to hell in a handbasket, and we're all basically just waiting. We're just kind of going through the motions, just waiting for the bullets to start flying and for the collapse to finish doing just what it's going to do. It's going to collapse. Not trying to be a pessimist, but that's just how I see it. I'm trying to be a realist. I'm trying to stay optimistic, but I'm also trying to be real. I mean, look around. The world's just going to crap. And I just, as much as I appreciate what some of these people on some of these red pillars are trying to do, trying to get people to get in shape, trying to get women to quit doing OF, and trying to get men from stop funding the OF. I read a statistic the other day that like 80 million men in the United States, which is literally half of all men in the United States, have an OF subscription. They pay monthly and encourage these women, young girls in many cases, like barely 18, to sell pictures of their buttholes. And I don't know, you'll have to check the stat. The stats that I saw, that 90% of these men that have these OF accounts, they're all married. What's the point in being married? And then for all these guys, these men to get online to complain about feminism, how can you complain about feminism when you are contributing and paying for the demise of your own country? Because anybody with half a brain knows that, I mean, this is Weimar. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. These are the end times when that is the primary income of so many households. Another statistic I saw is like, I don't know, several million more women in this country own homes than men. Single moms, mostly. Their primary income either being OF or child support. Well, where does that child support come from? It comes from the deadbeat dads like me. That is exactly what Title 4D is. I won't go into full detail, but in a nutshell, it's a United States federal government program. It's part of the Social Security Act. It's literally Title 4, Part D of the Social Security Act, passed literally 50 years ago in 1975. It not only mandates that all states' attorneys general have a child support collection program in place, it funds them. It incentivizes them. It gives them literally 66 cents on the dollar for every dollar that they collect in child support. Now, think about it. If you started running a business and someone just came up to you out of the blue and said, hey, guess what? If you'll just start collecting child support for every dollar you get in, I'll give you 66 cents. Said another way, for every $1,000 you collect in child support, I'll send you a $666 check. For every $1 million you collect in child support, I'll send you a check for $666,666.66. And that will pay for the salaries of all of your employees, Mr. or Mrs. AG. What would you do? I mean, I get it. I complain about the justice system a lot, but I mean, I get it. You got to have these AGs to go after murderers and rapists and thieves, and I get it. And those cost a lot of money. RICO charges, if it's a really, really big case, costs a lot of money. Where are you going to get the money? I know. All I have to do is go collect child support. I got to I just got to wait for someone to get divorced and put them on child support, and I get money like 66 cents on the dollar. Sign me up. And that's what they do. So 50 years of this has gone by since they first implemented this. And so for the past 50 years, all the states' AGs go after child support. and they get bonus. They're basically getting a bonus for every one they get. So what's the best way to create a customer base like that? Encourage women to get divorced. Ronald Reagan famously got rid of no fault divorce, meaning in the old days, you couldn't just go get a divorce. You had to show cause. He either had to you got to prove he beat you up, or infidelity, or something like that, or serious drug addiction, alcohol addiction. You had to prove it. But nowadays, I mean, ask any woman, if you were to tell any woman nowadays, you can't get a divorce just because you're bored of him, just because he's not making your feels all right, because he was rude to you one time, they would lose their ever loving mind. What do you mean? Down with the patriarchy. But yeah, in the olden days, that's how it was. You had to have cause. You couldn't just wreck a man's life, steal his children, and get thousands of dollars every month. But that's what they've had 50 years to encourage. Now it's so well known by every woman in this country. If you get knocked up, make sure at the very least he's rich, or at least has a good income. And then if you have another one, you get even more. And you have another one, you get even more. And on top of that, you get EBT. You get all kinds of food stamps and benefits. There's every incentive in the world for women to behave the way they behave these days. And it all stems from Title IV defunding, which is something that Pearl Davis, to the best of my knowledge, I could be wrong. And if you find a clip where any of these people mention Title 40, let me know. But Pearl Davis has never mentioned it as far as I know of. Myron Gaines has never mentioned it as far as I know of. Andrew Tate has never mentioned it as far as I know of. Brian from Fresh and Fit has never mentioned it as far as I know. None of these people have ever talked, and I'm almost tempted to believe that they actually do know, because I did see an interview that Pearl did with a guy named what's his name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it, but he's a real prominent. His name's it'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he wrote up a real nice article about me, like just a few months after the Parker movie went viral. And then I haven't ever kept up with him. I mean, he's still around, but this guy's he is aware of this is what I was getting at. He is fully aware of Title 4D, like fully aware of it. But he used to go on like prime time, like Diane Sawyer. Dadgummit, it bugs me when I can't remember people's names. It'll come to me. More I talk about it, it'll come to me. Anyway, Pearl, and this guy's like he's older than me. Like he's probably 55 or 60. He's been around. He's been in the divorce manosphere, MGTOW, men going their own way world way longer than me. And he had a big movement even back in 2013 when the Parker movie went viral. And that's why he wrote up a real nice article about Parker and me. But anyway, Pearl did an interview with him, I don't know, a year or two ago. And I watched most of it. It's been a while. I hadn't seen it, but I'm quite certain somebody has at least whispered in her ear what the problem is. And with the audience that someone like Pearl has, or Myron, or Andrew Tate, or any of those people, if they really wanted to have a grassroots effort and really wanted to stop the problem about all the things they complain about red pilling and men going their own way, and the reason being because women make awful choices. And I know that pisses off so many women when I say that, but what about men? They're all douchebags. You're not wrong. They are. That's why I get on to men for being fat, drunken pigs who actually pay for OF. But there are way, 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 way too many single moms out there that to say that there's not a problem of women going after the douchiest of douche men. It's just what they do. I don't know why exactly. Well, I have a theory. My theory is drunkenness and gluttony, laziness, obesity, fast food, OF, poisoning your mind, poisons your body, makes you make bad decisions. I would know. I did it. I got obese. I was a drunk. The difference in me and a lot of these people is I own it. It's not good for your bank account when you own it because, I mean, I'm broke. People call me a grifter call me an e-grifter. I'm like, I'm honest about why I'm here. I'm open about why I'm here. And I'm not just going to just get on here every single day if I don't get paid, because it's kind of a lot of work to set all this up. People think podcasting is easy. And for some people it is. I've never claimed to be a good podcaster. I know I'm not. There's a reason those guys are a lot better, because they're better speakers than me. I get it. And I'm fine with that, but they also get paid a lot of money. And again, it's just a big circle. They get paid a lot of money to talk about a problem that exists that they don't want to necessarily go away, because if it actually went away, they would be out of a job. They won't address the problem, which is Title IV defunding, which is incentivized to single motherhood, which kicks fathers out of the house. It's a big circle, and the cream of the crops are the ones that make it. I would get on here every single day if I was making 500 a day, 1,000 a day, 10,000 a day, whatever those guys make, just to get on and do a podcast. I'd be on here every single day too. I'd be, if that's what paid the bills, talking about Title 40, but it doesn't, because nobody wants to hear solutions. They want drama. That's the reason for those of you, Dorian and where Dorian Dannon, and a few others that have been around here forever. I complain a lot about being asked that same question: how's Parker? How are the kids? How's Parker? How are the kids? Because I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done talking about it. I don't mind filling in gaps here and there for the new people, but I'm done talking about it. They want drama. The only reason the Parker movie went viral is because it's pure drama. That's all it is. It's just drama. People want me to this day, 12 years after that, all my children are grown. They want me to go get my phone and hold it up and go film that bitch, and just, they want drama. They don't want solutions. I never wanted to be YouTube famous. I was backed into a corner. I had 4 young children that were being yanked away from me. I was being drugged into the poorhouse. I gave up a career. I had a business with 3 to 4 employees. I grossed 1.2 million in my final year. I gave all that up because Parker and the kids got moved to San Antonio. That created drama. I was backed into a corner. I needed eyes on my case. It served its purpose. 4 years later, I had 27 people show up in court sitting on my side, including one of them's my own second ex-wife and her mother, but they sat on my side. And I am appreciative of it. But again, drama is what sells. And I want to be drama free, because in my opinion, drama is life sucking. Drama is what keeps us glued to our phones 24/7, scrolling to get the next fix. People want drama. Now, obviously, there's some people that, that do other. I consume as much social media as the next guy, and I've watched as much drama, and I even like some drama, but I don't want it all the time. And that's what these people, in my opinion, these Pearl Davises of the world, these Andrew Tates of the world, these Fresh and Fit Myron Gaines of the world, the whatever podcast people, they thrive on the drama. That's why they have all these stupid biatches with plastic lips and rubber tits come on there, because they say the dumbest shit. And I have to admit, it is entertaining. I laugh as much as the next guy. The stupid shit that comes out of these biatches' mouth constantly. It's just laughable. And they make a really good living, and good for them. Again, the advice that a lot of these guys, including Pearl, give is stop, giving these women all your money. I agree with. Get in shape, men. I agree with. I'll take it a step further. Don't even touch drugs and alcohol of any kind. Focus on yourself. And those are all good things that I happen to agree with, but they never get to the core. What is causing this mass problem of single motherhood and hookup culture and swipe culture? Tinder just added a new thing for ladies the other day. I saw on a news blip or whatever. Now women can add to their filter height. If they don't want these short men, these short kangs, they can swipe it. They can filter out and get rid of the shorties. But this entire hookup culture, degenerate society, this Weimar Republic, this Sodom and Gomorrah, screw everybody, screw everything, have no connections whatsoever. Get to for the women, it's I'll never hit the wall. For the men, it's I'll always be, going after the next, I don't know if I can say that word, going after the next piece of ass. All this is caused because there is an incentive in this country for women to get knocked up and get away. If you stay married to the man, there's no money exchanging other than what's just in the household, those household income and bills. But the state doesn't get any part of that. They want single moms raising all the kids. They want to extract money from the sperm donors, the baby daddies. That's why they can chase you down. That's what happened to me. That's why I'm still $50,000 in debt, because I got creamed in the family court. To this day, I owe that bitch 50,000 MF in dollars still. And every time I go get a job, and it's hard to start over at this age. I'm 48. It's really, really, really hard to start over at this age when you're completely busted ass broke. Because I was a professional at one thing and one thing only. I was really, really, really good at being a Caterpillar diesel engine field service mechanic in the West Texas oil field. I was among the best. I was really, really good. I was in the top tier. I made a lot of money doing it. But that type of job only exists in West Texas. Yes, I know there's drill rigs everywhere. I know there's offshore platforms in other places. I know that you can be a mechanic on anything. And that's just my point. Unless you've been in this field, you have no idea what it's like. That's like telling just a doctor that just graduated with their medical and has their medical license. Well, okay, you're a doctor. You can go be a brain surgeon, a heart surgeon, a cancer doctor, oncologist. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to, or you can go be a vet, or better yet, telling a vet, well, you're a doctor. I see doctor next to your name. You can just go get a job at the hospital and do open heart surgeries. It doesn't work like that. The same thing with mechanics. It doesn't work like that. I had a very, very specialized field. And A, I'm too old to do it anymore. And B, after what happened to me in West Texas, I can't go back there anymore. I can't. I'd rather die. I'd rather walk off a cliff and die. If that was my only option, Caleb will pay you another 150, 250,000 bucks a year to go be a field mechanic in Odessa, Texas. I would, and if it was that or just walk off a cliff, I just walk off a cliff. I'm done. I won't go back. They scarred me for life. They destroyed my family there, and I can't and I won't go back. So here I am starting all over. So I'm not qualified to do. I mean, I have other things I can do, but to just go get a job, to just show up in a town like where I'm at now in Wells, Nevada, I'm looking at $15 an hour, 20 if I'm lucky, just to go get a job. And then with the Title 4D, as soon as you get a job, your social security number's in there. They track your ass down and they take their cut after Uncle Sam gets his and all the withholding or whatever. They suck, and there's no paycheck left. That is entirely the problem. And that is what these people like Myron Gaines and whatever podcast Brian guy and Andrew Tate and that's Pearl Dave, those type people, that's something I suspect they know, but they're never, ever, ever going to get rid of the problem, because as soon as the women quit being prostitutes and OF themselves, there goes their way of life. There's nothing to gripe about. There's no stupid single moms with multiple baby daddies getting on there saying the dumbest shit ever. It just dries up. They'd have to go find something else to do, which is what I'm having to do. For me, there is no oil field. Even if I did go back to Odessa right now, the oil field's dead at the moment. Price of oil is in the tank. There's no work there anyways. So anyways, I just wanted to get on here and rant on that a little bit. Crypto market is dumping. It is just the damnedest thing. I did not anticipate that. I did not have that in my bingo card for no alt season. Last cycle, 4 years ago, we started alt season, and I mean, I guess it started in January, but it went to overdrive by April. We're in May. Actually, today's the last day of May. We're going to start. Tomorrow's June. Tomorrow, when June is over, this year will be halfway over. And we still haven't started alt season. We may not even get an alt season. And I'm going to be double screwed. Oh, I did get a few offers, by the way. And for those that may be watching that saw, thank you. They're people I already knew. And that's some of the text that I'm looking at now. I've got some work lined up at the moment, so it worked out. But I'm still open to suggestions. Somebody like me that is just, it's absolutely pointless for someone like me to fill out a resume. Absolutely pointless. There's a reason most men that get divorced and wind up getting bent over a barrel like I did don't do what I did and go viral and record all this and just raise total hell, is because you get pigeonholed. You get, for some reason, people, they like what I make content wise. People like hearing from me. I still get emails and messages all the time asking for advice. They like all that. But as from an employer's perspective, if you're a hell raiser like me, they don't want you. And especially since, COVID hit, I was subcontract back then. COVID hit, I lost all that. Oil field went away. I was still trying to finish raising my kids. Made a little money in the last bull run and bought that little tiny sailboat. I had to just decompress. I just got done drinking. A year later, I started working out, fell in love with working out. I didn't have a job, quote unquote, job. I've had a couple here and there, but every time I do, but this was before they fixed my child support arrears. They weren't. Now, if I go get a job, they're only going to take $700 a month because I finally got it all fixed. But back then, they're still taking like, I don't know, $1,700 or $1,400 or $1,700 a month. I had no paycheck left, none, and it's all because of Title 4D. But hello, Mr. Tory. How are you doing? What do you want to talk about? Some politics? I've avoid talking politics on here because Tory knows my politics a lot better than a lot of people, but if I really talk to my politics on here, this channel will get banned in a heartbeat. That's why I don't even bother. I like YouTube. there's a lot of stuff you can learn on YouTube, but if you really want to know what's really going on in the world, you have to get on a platform that has either zero or all near zero censorship. Because when you criticize the wrong thing on this platform or Facebook or Meta or to some degree even X, but X is a lot better than a lot of them. If you criticize the wrong group of people, then you get censored and you get kicked off. And that's why I really don't even bother talking politics on here, is because pretty much anything I had to say about politics would absolutely get me banned permanently and completely defunded. And I'm not really interested in that. One of these days, I may start a, yeah. Well, one of these days, Tori, maybe you and I'll start some like Rumble is really good. You can get on Rumble and they're pretty much censorship free. Outside of you can't like break the law. And I don't think you can have just straight up porn, which I don't know why anybody would want that anyways. But I like Rumble because you can. That's where I watch a lot of there's a young man's name who's I can't even mention. If you mention his name on this platform, you risk getting deplatformed. And he's Parker's age. But I've always heard he's an awful, terrible person. I heard it for years. And so I didn't want to, why would I want to listen to that? I never did. But then I started listening to what he had to say. There's another guy as a comedian. I don't think I can mention his name. I don't know. He's made like, he's been kicked off, this comedian. He's only about 3 or 4 years younger than me, lives up in northern Idaho. He's been kicked off of YouTube. I think he said overall between YouTube and all the Meta accounts, he has been kicked off about 50 times since about 2018, which is about the same time they cracked down on that other young man that is Parker's age. He's about 26. And if you even mention their names, that I've heard people, they may not kick the whole channel off, but they'll zap that particular video. That's dangerous. And so there's really no sense of me even talking politics on here, even though I do obviously have a political opinion. If you want to see my political opinion, you can follow me on Facebook, where I frequently get banned. I'm the king of 30-day bans on there because they zap me for the dumbest shit. Like the dumbest thing. If you give too much of an opinion, they just shut you down. I give a lot of my opinions on X as well, but I don't get any traction there because I lost my account years ago, and X gave me a new account, and it just never got any kind of traction. It's just basically all bots that follow me. I don't even know why. I know why I bother, because I get a lot out of it, but anyways, I don't really want to talk I want to talk politics, but I'm not going to do it on this platform because I'm just going to leave the Parker channel. It is what it is. A lot of people get a lot of use from it. To this day, I still get the kindest messages from people saying, Caleb or Mr. Levitt, I grew up with you. I watched the Parker movie when I was a kid. Now I'm a grown woman or a grown man. I've got children of my own. I've never treat my own children that way, and that means a lot to me. Like that holds a lot of value, pulls a lot of weight with me, and I am very appreciative of it. So I don't want to jinx. I don't want to risk losing the channel. So I don't know. Maybe Tori and I or something like that, we'll start some kind of politics channel someday. But I got to be careful even then, because like if I've really started giving my 2 cents, which by the way, if you find my politics somewhere, none of that comes out of hate. People say it comes out of hate, but that's just how they get you. They call it that. That's what hate speech laws are for, is they want to label you as a this or as a that. And you get these labels simply for criticizing the wrong people. Now, people that look like me, divorced white dads, we're we're free. We're free game. It's open season on white divorced fathers. You can make fun of us. You can mock us. You can call us every kind of derogatory name and tell us how awful we are and we're all deadbeat dads. And that is perfectly acceptable. That is perfectly fine. The censors don't mind that. In fact, they encourage it. But when you flip the shoe on the other foot, like I'm walking a thin line just talking about, the single mom epidemic. I'm walking a real thin line just bringing it up because how dare you, you misogynist? How dare you? I can't believe you'd say that about that poor mama. Look her, she's just doing her best, living her best life. Just see all the tears in her eyes. You can't criticize her. She has tears. She's a woman. I'm walking a tightrope just criticizing that particular group. But white single fathers, yeah, you can rip on us and it's just open season and you'll never get censored. It's all the other groups that you can't criticize, which is part of my politics because I am critical of it. People are critical of me, and I'm fine being critical of me. There's a reason I don't delete comments. I mean, you can look on that last post of mine where I was talking about being broke. And I've got people talking shit about me. Do you know how easy it is for me? I could just simply ban the channel. I can go delete. Now there are a few channels if they just start just pounding nonsense all the time, just straight up spamming, yeah, I'll ban those. But if you've got a legitimate gripe about me, I don't delete those. I mean, how am I supposed to get any better if I can't listen to criticism and look inwardly, objectively, and find out whether or not their criticism is accurate and fix myself, if in fact I need to? Like, how many times have y'all seen comments in my comment section about telling me what a drunk I am or was? They're everywhere. I leave them up on purpose because I own it. They're exactly right. I was an obese alcoholic. I was going to die way too soon before my time if I didn't get my shit together. While I was an obese alcoholic, I made stupid decisions and it fogged my judgment. I did simpy shit. I've done simpy shit. That's how I know how stupid it is. Because when you've got a poisoned body, a poisoned mind from spirits or junk food or from eating more calories than you burn in a day, it has an effect on your choices and it has an effect on how you feel and your mood. And that's why I talk every time I get on here and I ask you, I didn't ask the beginning of this one, but I did have it in the comment section. Have you moved today? Did you get your heart rate up today? Dannon didn't get her heart rate up yet, other than she's struggling with her mother, which is completely understandable. But Dannon, that's adrenaline or some kind of hormone. It's good, but need to like really circulate. I just think everyone should treat each other the way they want to be treated. Some people hate just to hate. When it comes to people who don't look like them, hostility isn't always necessary. True. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. Like when little babies whine and cry, I don't hate little babies, but I don't want to be around them because they scream and cry all the time. And I've raised mine. I don't want to be around them. I don't feel bad. I was born naive. Not a good way to. If you're born that way, you can't help it. If you notice that your child is naturally naive, you're doing them a disservice if you shelter them from the world. In my opinion, that's what my parents did to me. I don't know if they realized I was naive or not, but I mean, surely they did. But they sheltered me, and my dad ignored me a lot. And it's had a detriment. I've had to play catch up my whole life on that. But if you're born naive, you're just born naive. You either figure it out, or hopefully you've got a parent that can help you figure it out. But, as we've discussed on this pretty much every time I get on here, a lot of people don't have the parent. It's usually the dad, because he's got to go make a living to make child support payments, or else he goes to jail. And yes, I know people say, well, we can't, this is a, you can't go to jail. You can't go to jail over debt. There's a name for it. But yeah, you can. In criminal court, they can't put you in jail. But in family court, yes, if you get pined on jail, they absolutely, debtor's prison. If you default in the business world, all you got to do is file bankruptcy. It's a pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong. You don't go to jail. If you get a civil suit or something, and you say you call somebody a bitch or whatever, and you're a celebrity or whatever, they get you. Yeah, they can fine you, but if you can't pay it, they can't put you in jail. But there is debtor prisons for family court, because family court is under Title 4D laws. It's completely outside of constitutionality. If you, like, I've talked about this, I don't know how many times, and every time I do, people are like, no way, can't be true, is it? You've always heard about when you get your Miranda rights read to you. You have a right to remain silent, blah, blah, blah. You have a right to an attorney, but if you can't afford attorney, one will be issued for you, issued by the state or paid for by the state. That does not apply in family court. If that bitch sues your ass, if you can't hire an attorney, you're going what they call pro se. In other words, you're going to represent yourself, because they will not issue you an attorney, because there's no money in it for them. Constitutionally, in the criminal side, everybody gets the right to an attorney. It may be a shitty attorney, but a shitty attorney a lot of times better than no attorney at all. But in family court, if you can't afford your attorney, you can bend over and get diddied in the diddler, because that's exactly what they'll do to you. They're going to lube your ass up and jam it in, and basically you have no choice but just sit there and take it. There's nothing you can do. The only way you get an attorney in family court is if you can provide it, if you can pay for it yourself. So, yeah, they don't, these grifters, these red pillars, again, they're not all bad, and I'm not completely shitting on them completely. A lot of their recommendations, everybody knows that, or most people know that I don't like Andrew Tate. I just think he's a scum human being, the way he exploits very young girls. He intentionally goes after fatherless girls. Do you really think Andrew Tate wants a world full of young girls who have very sober, strong, wealthy, married fathers that are protective? Do you really think Andrew Tate wants that? No, absolutely not. Andrew Tate wants as many fatherless 15-year-old girls as he can find, so he can exploit, and I can't even say the word, and do what Andrew Tate is known for doing. But 15-year-old girls who have fathers who are married to the girl's mother, and the father is sober and in shape and involved in his little girl's life day in and day out, there's not a snowball's chance in hell he's going to let his beautiful 15, 16, 17-year-old daughter go anywhere near a predator like Andrew Tate. And at the same time, I happen to agree with pretty much all of Andrew Tate's politics. When it comes to politics, I agree with him on just about everything. I like the guy. I really do. I think he's spot on. His flaw is the way he has chosen to make a living outside of his career as a kickboxer, which helped. I'm not shaming him for that. That's fine. That's good. But he made most of his money exploiting fatherless girls. But if there's no fatherless girls, there is no wealthy, uber wealthy Andrew Tate. That it just doesn't exist. And that's another problem I've got with Andrew Tate is this stupid bro university or whatever it's called. I don't even know the name of it. He basically sells online courses to young, vulnerable, testosterone full of men who 9 out of 10 of them, I'm willing to bet, are all raised by single moms. They didn't have a prominent father figure, but they've got all this testosterone. They just don't know anything to do with it. They just want to get rich and bang hoes and do blow. Oh, yeah, I'll pay Andrew Tate hundreds or thousands of dollars to get into his stupid bro university so that Andrew Tate, a pimp of underage girls, can teach me how to get rich like him, and I can go find more fatherless 15-year-old girls. That's how that asshole makes his money. And he's just a degenerate. He's smart. He's intelligent. Not denying that. My ex-wife's smart. She's got an IQ probably well above mine. She's very, very intelligent. Don't ever think a narcissist or an asshole is stupid. They may do some stupid things, and you can outfox them. But Andrew Tate is a very, very, very intelligent person. Don't ever think otherwise. He's very intelligent, but he is also smart enough to realize if he runs out of his supply of fatherless 15-year-old girls, he's up a creek. He's going to have to settle for 20 somethings or 30 somethings, and he ain't going to have that. So, hello, Georgia. How are you? Yep, he's not going to have that. So where's the incentive for Andrew Tate to talk about Title IV defunding and abolishing it? What is the incentive for Andrew Tate to say, hey, representatives, hey, Mr. President, since him and Trump are, I guess, kind of buddy, maybe, I'm not sure. Where's the incentive to him to call up the President of the United States or senators or Congress people and say, hey, I run this webcam business, or I used to run it, and I teach young men how to pimp young girls out. Can you look into, I saw this cable lever guy, and he's talking about doing away with Title IV defunding and do away with incentivizing women to leave their husbands, so that way we can have a society full of young boys and young girls being raised under the same roof as their fathers. Can you imagine him calling and telling a politician to abolish Title IV defunding so we could get rid of this problem in this single motherhood? That's not going to happen. Andrew Tate's going to do what Andrew Tate does, and it's trick all of you into falling for his grift. Fresh and Fit is never going to tell you, or Pearl Davis, they're never going to tell you, hey, call your congressman. Figure out a way to get a hold of your senator or the president or your attorney general or even your local representatives or your mayor, and talk to them about, because most of these people, there's a guy, a prominent guy named Nick. No, not Nick. Yeah, what's it? Anyway, he's a prominent. He's my age, a little bit old. He's a year or two older than me. Nick Sortas. He is a current representative, I believe, in Virginia. He is and has been a state representative for, I believe, Virginia. And he does a podcast, and he's pretty much a red pill guy. Well, he had a guy on there that I've brought up on here before. Jeff Younger. He had Jeff Younger on his program. Jeff Younger educated him on the spot about Title 4D. That guy, he's a representative for 10 years. My age. He'd never heard of it. He had no idea that his own state as far as the Attorney General's office of his own state that he's been elected of and a member of, a citizen of his pretty much his entire life. He had no idea Title 4D even existed. He didn't have a clue. And I see him making clips all the time about, conservative values, general red pill type stuff. He had no idea. Because they don't want you to know. Because if you're ignorant and you're stupid, then that serves their interest. A well-educated populace, as Lord Carlin used to say, they don't want that. They want you just smart enough to pull the levers and do the paperwork and pay your taxes and go to work and shut up. They want you just smart enough to do that, but they don't want you smart enough to actually question what is really the root problem in this country, in my opinion, which is single motherhood. Fathers being kicked out of the houses, the promotion of hypersexuality, the promotion of alcohol and other drugs, the promotion of obesity. Look at it. I've said this. I've been on record saying this a lot. Look at it. Look around. Women have a very legitimate gripe when they talk about where have all the good men gone, because the average man, the average adult male, is obese and an alcoholic, and or on at least one, probably more than one medication. If you're routinely eating junk food and not exercising and drinking alcohol or taking prescription drugs regularly, you are poisoning your mind. You're poisoning your body. And when you poison your mind and your body, you're not going to think straight. You're going to make stupid choices. You're going to let your body go. You're not going to show up when you need to show up. You're not going to be able to perform when you need to perform. And women notice it. And they're disgusted by a lot of it. Maybe that's why so many women drink, because the men are all fat. And that's, I've got a theory that 50 to 70% of every American alive today was born because their parents were drunk at their conception. That's my theory. We're at 57 minutes. I'm probably going to stop this at an hour. Agreed, I've always been naive and I need to be told the truth. Yeah, the truth hurts, but the truth is the only way we can ever better ourselves. How are you, like I said, outside of spammers, I don't delete comments that are critical of me. It's because if I don't know what the truth is and what somebody may be saying about me, maybe they're right. When it comes to the Parker stuff, I've heard it all. There's very, very rarely do I ever get a criticism of the Parker movie that I haven't already thought about or heard or talked about. Very, very seldom happens. But I'll leave the criticism up. Like that grifter one on that post, that guy called me an e-beggar. Maybe he's right. I don't want to be an e-beggar because nobody wants to beg. But I left the comment. I don't think he's right because, it's not like I'm bending over and showing y'all my asshole and saying, send me $5 and sign up for my OF. On Monday, I watched the Parker stand up for his rights since it was an anniversary. Oh, yeah. All right, May. That's right. Yeah, I recorded that on May 26th. It says on YouTube, the release date was like, I don't know, June 6th or something. Yeah. I totally forgot. Thank you, Jensen. Yeah, to the 26th, that was the actual date. Howdy. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to cut her short. I was going to pack up and go hike in the woods, but I think I've decided I'm going to stay here for another week and playing it by ear. I did hear from an old employer, subcontract friend of mine. So I may have some work come up, some good stuff, good paying work. So I may be here a little longer than I thought. But if I am, I'll get on here occasionally when something interesting comes up and I want to talk about it. If I start making 100 a day or 500 a day or 1,000 a day doing this podcast, you bet your ass there'll be an incentive for me to get on here and make it worth my while. But I've tried getting on here every day, like a couple, 3 years ago. Danny was around and a few others. And if you can't make a certain dollar amount a day, it's just not worth it, because I just get burned out. So anyway, y'all take care, and I will see y'all the next time. Got any particular topics, or just let me know in the chat. Y'all take care. Bye.